Hi, it's Dr. Christine. I'd love to talk to you about the 3 keys to navigating this shift in consciousness that we are going through as a human family at this moment. Right now, it can feel a lot like the world is splitting into 2 realities, and in a way it is. Some people are becoming more aligned, more peaceful, more embodied, while others feel more triggered, chaotic, and disconnected. And before I get into why that is and introduce you to the first key of navigating this consciousness shift, I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself. So, proper introduction, I think, is in place. Again, my name is Dr. Christine. I'm a holistic psychological consultant and consciousness educator. I bridge spirituality and spiritual truths of all religions with psychology, consciousness research primarily. I have a PhD in transpersonal and humanistic psychology, and I have specialized in consciousness, spirituality, and integrative health. I have studied all religions. I've studied many spiritual paths. I believe that part of this consciousness shift is an integration between the psychological and the spiritual, science and the spiritual. It's all wanting to be aligned and come together. And that is what I'm talking to you about today. So if you want to learn more about me, you can go on my website. It's drchristine.com. You can also book sessions with me there and all kinds of other things. So if you enjoy this video, please subscribe and share it with other people so that they can access this information too, and we can have a smooth transition into the 5-dimensional new earth frequency. And without further ado, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video. So as I've said, some people are becoming more aligned, more peaceful, and more embodied. They're really feeling a shift, especially with the recent frequencies that have come into planet Earth, the eclipse and Mercury retrograde, which just recently went direct again. We've really been individually tasked and asked, what do we want to align with? Do we want to be in the 5-dimensional? Do we want to be in the 3rd-dimensional? Where is it that we want to land and be and sort of live from? So some people are becoming more peaceful, more embodied. They're really walking their talk. They're making decisions based on their higher self, while others are feeling more triggered and chaotic and disconnected and are kind of up and down, don't know where things are landing for them. What it is it's internal frequency divergence. So we're noticing these different frequencies on planet Earth. It's not just on the outside, it's also on the inside that we're noticing this, because we are frequency at its core. Even lower, more material things are vibrating at a very low frequency. So we're vibrating and we're constantly sort of choosing what kind of frequencies to engage with and to become. We're becoming all the time. Everyone is being invited to their deeper truth, to self-responsibility, and to embodied consciousness. Not just intellectual ideas about spirituality or psychology, but integrating it and embodying it in your own bodies. So essentially, this paradigm shift, this shift in consciousness, is not something that's just happening out there and we're not participating. It's very much a collective effort, and it's very much an effort that each one of us is invited to be doing within ourselves. It's an internal revolution, a quiet revolution first, and then as we transform ourselves and as we become more integrated and more whole, that's when we then go out and the ripple effect starts and we inspire others to do the same thing. We only need a small critical mass to tip planet Earth, and it will become this heaven on earth that has been predicted in all kinds of religious and spiritual texts and prophecies. Individually invited into participating in this revolution. And this has been really gone into overdrive in 2020 when the COVID pandemic hit and we weren't able to bypass anymore by going outside and socializing and drinking and dancing and doing all the things with, our peers, but were forced into isolation and forced into going within and seeing the shadows, seeing the dragons. We couldn't push it down anymore. It was coming out and it was in our face. And it was like, well, are you going to deal with it or are you not going to deal with it? This is sort of just an extension of that energy. So everything that's going on in the world, many people are withdrawing and they're like, well, what can I do about all of this? You can do a whole lot. Actually, you can go within, really get your team together. If the work is too hard to do on your own, get yourself that therapist, get yourself that consultant or that coach, get yourself those healers that can feng shui your energy and help you become more aligned and more peaceful and more integrated. So just to simply define what's happening, we're moving from the 3D or the third dimensional energetic frequency on planet Earth, which is rooted in energies of survival, fear, control, validation, and external focus, to just name a few. We're moving away from the small ego power that is driven by fear and survival towards the 5-dimensional or 5D, which is all about alignment, truth, embodiment, unity, inner safety, and driven by unconditional love. That's what we're seeing in the world, and that struggle from fear to love, from survival to alignment and truth. And we're also struggling with it within ourselves. Each one of us is being asked to move through these essential initiations because we're each being initiated to becoming a 5-dimensional being if we so choose. We are beings of free will. That is our freedom. We can choose whatever we want. And if we choose to not go the 5-dimensional route, then that's okay. It's not better or worse to go 5-dimensional. It's just a matter of your own soul and your own inner truth to see, do I really want to go there, or is that not something that my soul wants to experience at this time? Within this sort of grand awakening and this shift in consciousness, we have 3 big keys or themes that we're going through and that we're each individually working through in our own psyche, our own spiritual development. And these 3 keys are, number 1, empowerment, number 2, alignment, and number 3, integration and inner union. Today, I would love to talk to you about the empowerment. What do I mean by when I say empowerment? Essentially, the theme really is moving from victim or victimhood to creator, moving from this idea that things are happening to me to the idea of things are happening for me. Moving from the idea of I'm just being randomly plopped into this lifetime. I have no control, just this little boat, this little nutshell, and the ocean just being swept around, and I have no control over what's going to happen next. And move towards the idea of no, I'm actually the sailor of my own boat, and I can go wherever I want. I am made in the image of Creator. I am spiritually divine. We are all little gods and goddesses walking around, creating and having Creator within us and to creating whatever we want to create in the world. That's the main theme in this whole empowerment. What does that mean in terms of 3-dimensional patterns and the 5-dimensional shift? It means that the 3-dimensional pattern a lot of us are still sort of stuck in is this idea that something happens and then we ask ourselves, why is this happening to me? Why did my husband leave me? Or why did my wife cheat on me? Or why can't I make the money that I want to make? Or why is this happening to me? It comes from an energetic pattern and root of blame, of projection, and of waiting to be saved. Now, newsflash, nobody's going to save you but yourself. You are your own savior. You are your own knight in shining armor. It's you. It's nobody else. Nobody's going to, shift it. But a lot of us are still feeling a lot of safety in our nervous systems around staying stuck in this idea and pattern of blame, projection, and waiting to be saved by somebody else because it's the path of least resistance. Change and also reclaiming our power and making informed decisions for ourselves is often something that is extremely hard and painful because it takes a lot of looking at our own patterns and our own shadows. And that's just to say that it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of motivation to want to change out of that pattern and to not want to be the victim. So when I say shifting, we're not asking, why is this happening to me? We're asking, what is this showing me? And why is it happening for me? It's taking radical self-responsibility Not self-blame. It's not like, "Oh, it's all my fault." No, it's not your fault that you got incredibly ill. No, that's not what it is. This isn't supposed to be a shaming framework. It's actually supposed to showing yourself that you have radical self-responsibility. We all have the free will of making choices for ourselves, and we can make loving choices for ourselves, or we can make not so loving choices for ourselves. In the end, it really is our choice. It's a way of seeing relationships and situations as a way of growing versus as a way of, this is happening to me. You can see it as, oh, wow, look, this is really helping my soul evolve. This is helping me understand who I am at my core. This is helping me uncover my own beauty and truth and love. That is really what this 5-dimensional shift is all about. And it's very much complemented and benefits from the transpersonal framework. A lot of people are confused by what transpersonal means. It really essentially just means a spiritual framework. It's coming from this idea that we actually planned our lifetimes, and that we didn't just have one lifetime, that we've had many lives, and that in each of these lifetimes we've gone through cycles of hard things that we had to learn, hard emotions that we wanted to learn about, and so on and so forth. And that we are actually putting in place these different hard situations so that we can learn from them and grow from them. Because if you're somebody who likes to go to the gym or is athletic, you will know that only with sweat and tears and blood and push-ups and running around the court, or this is when you're going to improve your game, when you're going to improve your body, when you're going to be able to run that marathon or whatever. And it's the same thing as an analogy in planet Earth. Only if we can go to the spiritual gym is when we are growing and when we are evolving and taking responsibility for our experience. That is what empowerment is. It's essentially reclaiming your energy, taking pieces of yourself back and becoming an integrated human versus a fractured human who just constantly gives the pieces away to other people, other circumstances. Now, examples are relationships that are triggering you. We can say, oh, look at them. They're not doing that. They're not helping me. They're not rescuing me. They're betraying me. But instead, you could view it as mirror. Oh, look what that behavior is showing me, because every person that we encounter mirrors something back to us, whether good or bad. So looking at them and saying, oh, wow, you're mirroring something back to me that I've actually been doing. Like, let's say you're afraid somebody's going to betray you. Most likely that has been a pattern within yourself of not being in integrity in a relationship. Taking your power back in relationships is saying, oh, wow, you're a mirror to my own patterns. Now let me look at those patterns. Let me heal them so that I can move to a healthier relationship. Financial fear, right? When we have financial fear, we feel unsafe around money. The shift is reclaiming our agency, reclaiming our inner divine creator, reclaiming that we can take action. We can start a babysitting service. There's so many ways in which we can make money, and reclaiming that energy and stepping into action and manifesting that for ourselves. Emotional triggers, it's really about self-regulation versus projection. When we get triggered in a relationship, seeing, oh, wow, this is my nervous system doing this. And often when it's toxic, it's the nervous system that is just repeating a loop that we've learned early on in life. And then saying, okay, I'm disengaging from this loop and I'm going to start self-regulating in this moment. And there's so many embodiment practices, breath work, going for a run, exercising in any way that you enjoy, dancing. Dancing is wonderful for embodiment and self-regulation. Even just going in nature, sitting on a park bench, or if you have a nice yard, listening to the birds sing and enjoying yourself as part of nature. These are all wonderful ways of self-regulating, and it's also wonderful ways of taking back your power and not giving it away to someone else or merging into projection. Empowerment isn't about controlling your life. Empowerment is all about choice, and it's all about staying with yourself and staying with your own agency and knowing that you can choose your experiences, you can choose your guides, you can choose your support system, you can choose your truth, and you're not giving it away or merging into someone else and hoping that they're going to rescue you. That said, notice where you're still giving away your power, and if you want to, comment below. Let's create community around this. Let's support each other, and walking empowered lives and learning how to be empowered and not giving away our power. And if you have any questions for me specifically, comment below as well. Please share this video if you found it helpful so that more and more of us can reclaim our power and truly help this wonderful shift in consciousness that's happening, because we're all building the new earth and we're building it for future generations. So do your part, step into your purpose. There's a reason why you're here on planet earth at this time. One of the biggest reasons is doing your own work and inspiring others to do the same so that we can create these wonderful times that are ahead, even though it's hard to believe at this moment. So with that, choose love, always let love be your guide, and I'll see you next time. Bye.